This finally showed up today, so I'm doing a quick review of it. This is the Datafrog SF2000. You might have seen or heard about it online because everybody seems to be going just bonkers over it. So we're going to see if this thing is worth all the hype. Alright, here we go. We're going to unbox this thing together. And here it is in all its glory, the Datafrog SF2000. So it doesn't look terrible. Kind of cool that it looks like a Super Nintendo controller. I kind of like that. The start and select are on the front, so that's a plus, and only one thumbstick. On the bottom we have a crooked power button, a USB-C charging port, SD card, headset jack, and volume wheel. On the top we got a couple clicky L1 and R1 buttons. D-pad is a little, buttons are a little strange. Some of them are concave and some of them are convex. I don't really know why. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Start and select, they're not terrible. They feel okay. In the box we have a weird TV plug, which honestly I could never get to work, so I'm not showing that, and we got your USB power adapter. And an awesome manual, which doesn't tell you much of anything, like usual. So you can see here that the Datafrog SF2000 is selling for around $25. I bought mine over a month ago from AliExpress for $18, and it took its sweet time getting to me. Alright, let's turn this thing on. That's the power switch. Wow, there is some interesting menu music, that's for sure. So we got MAME, there's your settings, there's Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and we're back to arcades. So, not a whole lot. I didn't expect much. Let's, friendly reminder, this is only 25 bucks. So, and apparently I forgot to change it out of Portuguese. So the D-pad is not the greatest, I'll admit. It is really hard to do diagonals. I don't really know what's going on here. I feel like I'm just gonna die. So we're gonna try to play this, and we're probably gonna die pretty soon. The buttons are okay. They bottom out quite a bit, but in trying to do a diagonal. Okay. It says that there are 6,000 plus games on here. From what I can see, there are a ton of extra games. Some from different regions and maybe even some homebrew games. So this is playable, sort of. It's a little, the buttons are a little hard to press and the D-pad is just a little wonky. It makes it just not completely, see, I shouldn't have done that right there. So it's definitely making me look a little worse than usual. What the? So, super bizarre thing. The third Genesis button is the R1 trigger. I don't understand that. So, this is really hard to play Earthworm Jim. Also, just a side note, after looking at everything, there's no ability to remap the buttons. So, we just have to deal with this. The speakers are a little deceiving. There are two speaker holes in the back. There is only one speaker because you can see the other speaker is non-existent. Alright, let's check out a fighting game. I mean, overall, the device is a little clunky. Obviously, it's only $25. Um, it's it's a little hard to play this fighting game. The D-pad is not great. You'll see that I end up using the thumbstick, and it works a little bit better, but it's bizarre using the thumbstick. So I don't know. I don't know if you you really want to get this device, but it's okay for what it is, I suppose. I'm just used to better quality, obviously. This is something that I noticed afterwards. Check out this SD card. This is so bizarre. I've never seen an SD card look like this before. It's definitely super aftermarket, so you should get your own SD card and transfer some files if you end up getting this device. Hey, there's a search function. That's kind of neat. Alright, so my thoughts on it. What I like, well, there isn't a whole lot. It's only $25, so that's a good thing. The Nintendo controller design is neat and nostalgic, but what I don't like, well, unfortunately, there's a lot. This is something that I didn't mention in the gameplay, but the buttons are switched in all of the games. A is B and B is A on all of the consoles. Also with that, when you're playing Genesis or Mega Drive, the R1 button is the third button. So you can't remap this. I think I mentioned that. It's super weird, and it made playing some of the Genesis games nearly impossible. Also, there are no favorites. With the 6,000 plus games that are on here, that makes it a little hard to scroll through the lists. It would be nice if they had added favorites. And the lag, which is to be expected, it's only $25. I didn't take mine apart, but I've seen the board online, and the info on the processor is actually sanded down, which is super weird. So we don't really know what it's running. I doubt that custom firmware will be a thing for this. The D-pad is pretty bad. The diagonals are just not great, and you have to press down hard to get it to work sometimes, even just up and down and left and right. So overall, it just feels cheap and clunky. I might only recommend this as a gift for a child or to somebody that doesn't seem to care about any of the not so great things that I just listed. Maybe that person has never played video games before and they won't know what to expect. So it would be worth the investment to somebody who is really considering getting a retro handheld to spend a little bit more and maybe get the Anbernic RG35XX or the Miyoo Mini Plus. Yeah, they are triple the price, but I feel like you might be just wasting your money on the Data Frog, unfortunately. But again, these are only my thoughts, not yours. So, anyway, that's it for this device review. Until next time, stay awesome, everyone. Play some games.